Transformers games are the best thing ever for a long period of time. At least for me, and I guess me only, because who else played these games? These were pretty exclusive experiences to me in my past, so these might not be shared by everyone who watches this video. But the Transformers games were everything I played for a long time, even though in hindsight most of them are pretty bad. I was still eagerly awaiting the games as much as I was eagerly awaiting the movies. These are truly nostalgia games for me, and I'm gonna go through some of the ones I played and what I did in them while also talking about how they hold up now. Cause these games I can still play in 2018. Now I know some of these games were talked about in the movie video game movie video. But this is gonna go a bit more in depth into these games. So we're gonna go back in time a bit, shall we? Back to around... This game was everything I did for like 2 years, really. Really the only game I played, and by played I mean run around in some of the areas, is Optimus Prime. And try not to get killed by the cops, and occasionally do that one mission where you had to chase Bumblebee because he's captured by Sector 7. Either that or I'd climb the tallest building in the city as Bumblebee or Megatron or something. I didn't really know how to play video games at this point. But someone else was able to complete the mission so that I could actually play in different areas and characters. It's the only way I could actually run around as Optimus Prime. That's all I'd do, just run around as Optimus Prime. But how does this game hold up in 2018? Well, in hindsight, it's really easy to tell how this game was rushed into production to release at the same time as the movie. Firstly, the designs were all taken from the movie, so they didn't have to design characters. The story was already written for them, they just had to change things up a bit. But the entire structure of the game almost screams laziness now, or rushed at the very least. There are 2 campaigns, Autobot and Decepticon. Both have 5 levels, each with 4 missions. So really they've already cut down their workload to 5 areas for each side, each with 4 missions that they can just set in those areas. But they rush it more, using certain areas multiple times. They cut their workload in half. 5 areas were designed for the game. There's a suburban town area that's used for 3 levels. 2 Autobot levels, 1 Decepticon level. Then there's the city, which is used for both boss battles, and level 4 for each side. Then additionally there's a couple military bases for the Decepticons.
I just love a smoking ruin.
And Hoover Dam for the Autobots. Now they've cut their work down a ton. They've created an easy to make game, and now all they have to do is make 4 missions in each level. Sometimes the missions are fun and challenging, like boss battles, but most of them consist of throwing something at the enemy, they run away, you catch up, and then repeat until they're dead. Maybe you have to take out some grunts too. Then the final boss fight is basically the same thing. Megatron is just a combination of a bunch of Decepticon abilities, and Optimus is the same as the other bosses. Throw something, run away, repeat. So in retrospect, this game does not hold up all that well. And also it's hard to see what's happening. Buildings can be destroyed and cars explode, so most of the game is just visual noise and you can't distinguish between building and robot. But this game gave me some great entertainment along the way. So it's time to look at what came next. Two years later, Transformers 2 came out, so naturally it got its own video game. And this one is completely fundamentally different. This is around when I started to understand video games, but I still didn't really play them properly. The campaign would be finished by someone else, and the free play mode would be unlocked, along with a bunch of extras. So I just go through all the extras and then go to some of the maps as each Decepticon, then each Autobot, and just mess around. It was fun to finally get to be Optimus Prime in any area I wanted, and then to be powered up Optimus at the end. That was fun. And then eventually the time came for me to actually play the game properly, and that meant making some Let's Play about it. Who really knows why, but this is the first thing I ever uploaded to YouTube. So there's that, I guess. This game also had its fair share of laziness packed in. It was structured much differently than the first game, but still managed to seem lazy and rushed with maps. The game had 4 areas to go to, each with 3 maps. Each map was used for 2 missions, and was used in both the Autobot and Decepticon campaign. Also, the maps were smaller, and there was a lot less going on. The first one had people and cars going around, and now it's just a vacant city, and the only time people show up is in missions where you have to transport people. But this game allowed you to choose your character for each mission, so if you wanted to play Bumblebee on this mission, then decide, nah, let's do it as Optimus. You could. The dialogue given to you isn't different every time. They just call you Autobot or Decepticon.
Look out, Autobot. Get to safety.
I'm not just some regular Autobot, man. I'm Optimus Prime. Have some respect. Also, I just want to compare the sound design from the movie to the game. I was watching old clips of it, and I just figured I needed to make this comparison. So here's the movie. And here's the game.
Do you feel it? Your end approaches.
This was also the first of these games to introduce multiplayer, and though I didn't play it much, all the maps were from the campaign. So there were no additional maps made for multiplayer. Until the DLC, but you had to pay extra for that, and to get extra characters. Again, the story was made already and the characters were designed, so this game just furthered the Rush theme even though I could still play it and have fun. Except for the Devastator mission. That is the worst thing ever. Absolute worst mission. The save point is awful. You could nearly have him dead, and then he kills you, and guess what? Time to start over. Man, that one really sucked. But anyway, what game came next? War for Cybertron is the first of these games that actually managed to be good. This game does not show any of the same signs of laziness that the other games do. The maps are all different from each other in both Autobot and Decepticon campaigns, and they're structured differently. Before, the campaigns were separate and didn't affect each other, but now the Decepticon campaign comes first and directly affects what happens in the Autobot campaign. The 10 missions are a lot longer than before, and the layout is completely different. The first mission of the Decepticon starts in Starscream Station before moving through the station and then ending up out here jumping across platforms.
And the resulting explosion destroyed this part of the station.
Dark Energon did all of this?
Those fools had no idea how to control it.
That's just the first mission. The other 9 have a lot more going on. I didn't always play the campaign all that well. I managed to play some of the levels, but I mostly played multiplayer, which was super fun in this game. It allowed character customization this time around, but that mostly meant just changing colors and other character models, but it was a good start. Loads of maps that weren't taken straight from the campaign, and fun game modes that were always fun to mess around in. Overall, this game managed to become a huge improvement over the previous Transformers games. This is the first one that managed to tell a decent story and had some great missions. And some just really challenging missions. There's a part in the Autobot campaign that's just awful. You have to fight off waves of Decepticons while also protecting Ratchet. So whenever Ratchet goes down, you have to revive him, and that stops you from shooting the Decepticons. So they can just pound on you when you have to revive Ratchet. Also, the Trypticon mission at the end is pretty hard, but that's just because I suck at video games. That's it. That's all there is to that. I don't play Fortnite enough. But overall, this is the best Transformers game so far. So let's see what came next. What happened after High Moon Studios came in? Well, they made another one, so that's gotta be good. Dark of the Moon! The third movie also got a video game, and it's probably the shortest of all the games in this video. It's got 7 missions, and the missions are shorter than in War for Cybertron, which had 10 missions. So this game was also the least polished. That rushed idea kind of came back in this game, because it had to come out at the time of the movie. But the story was semi-original. It acted as a prequel to the movie, even though some things don't line up. Instead of just being the movie, it just managed to be more of an addition to the movie, so that was fun. Playing as some of the Autobots and Decepticons with different abilities and things you could do was fun to mess around with. But really, this game was War for Cybertron just on Earth. Look at the multiplayer customization screens. This is War for Cybertron, and this is Dark of the Moon. Almost identical, but I played the multiplayer a lot. This is around when I started to want to make videos. I just recorded myself playing this game. I was never very good at playing the game nor making videos, but I did it anyway. I was even weird enough to pretend I was commentating over the game even though nothing was recording. So if you just came by, you'd see some idiot talking to himself playing a Transformers game. But I put a lot of hours into the multiplayer. Not just playing, but making videos about it. I made some videos about me playing as either Autobot or Decepticon, then put it together in tributes. But then I put copyrighted music over it, so let's play that for 2 seconds, but with different music. Oh man, was that ever terrible. But the rushed aspect does come through in this game's multiplayer too. The maps are just taken from the campaign. There's the town from the Bumblebee mission, just at night. There's the city from the Ironhide mission. The junkyard, also from the Ironhide mission. There's the volcano from the end of the Soundwave mission. And the dry docks from the Megatron mission. But even then, that couldn't stop me from having fun with this game. This game was not nearly as well polished as War for Cybertron, but might be the best put together movie tie-in game. Perhaps ever. Because it uses that existing and working template, and not to the extent of Rise of the Darkspark. So there we go. Now, High Moon Studios came back to make one more game. So the hype is on. Oh man, the hype I had for this game was unmatched. I was so excited, another Transformers game. The first trailer was cool and all, and then the second trailer came out and it showed the Dinobots fighting Bruticus? What? That's gonna be awesome. But that's not it. That's not it. Optimus then awakens Metroplex, and I knew then I had to get the game day one. And then I did. And I realized you would awaken Metroplex and control him, and then you play as Bruticus later and smash everything, and then play as Grimlock? What? Oh my god, this is a dream! Everything's in this game, the perfect Transformers game. This was everything I wanted it to be, the best Transformers game. And maybe because of my nostalgia for it, and the hype I remember, and the build-up, and the satisfaction of playing it for the first time, this might be my favorite video game. I can play this game all the time. Campaign is great and perfect for any Transformers fan. It built off of what was done in War for Cybertron and perfected everything. Everything is cleaner, the guns look nicer, the gameplay is better, it's more streamlined and a lot more fun to go through. The missions are a lot more diverse this time. Every area looks pretty great and is different because each character has a different ability. Cliffjumper cloaks, Jazz has a grappling hook, Optimus Prime summons Metroplex, Megatron hovers and Grimlock turns into a T-Rex. That's just the campaign. Multiplayer went on a whole new level with loads of customization. I spend quite a bit of time making a new and cool looking Transformer, but then I just make it look like Optimus Prime because I'm not very original. I spend a lot of time playing multiplayer. I have just as many multiplayer videos for this game as I did for Dark of the Moon. Days and days of videos. They were all terrible too, so, you know.
Whoa! If this would be the end of this clip, and
FALLOF Cybertron was one of my most anticipated games, and I think it entirely lived up to the hype I built up. Man, just talking about it makes me want to go play the game. I'm really looking forward to doing this now. I just want to go back, destroy stuff as Grimlock, unlock new stuff in multiplayer if anyone still plays. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go play the game. Yep, I'm gone. Yep, I'm on my way.
Prime, you left the video on. It's still going. I know you want to play a video game, but now might not be the time. The universe is in peril. Whatever, I guess I'll just have to end this myself. Well, there we go, you pathetic insects. Another terrible video.
And this will be the end of this episode, and I will see you guys later.